Ready?
Yeah.
Call the meeting to order for 6:59. Get some housekeeping done here for Monday, November 27th, the select board meeting. Review agenda and additions, removal, or adjustments of any items.
Yes, we do have some adjustments to make. One is to add an item to the agenda, or maybe it could be just like now, acknowledging receipt from the planning commission, their memo and report for the proposed bylaw changes that they are forwarding on to the select board, for the select board to begin its public hearing process. And the public hearing has already been warned and published to two meetings on December 11th and December 18th. So this would be on the select board's agenda to acknowledge receipt of that transmittal. Sure.
2A.
Yeah. And then the other item is the library trustees have asked that the select board consider appointment of Elizabeth, and I can't pronounce her last name, but to fill a vacancy on the board of trustees until the next election. And then a couple of items on the agenda I recommend be postponed. Item 3, the community resource specialist job description. Police chief has asked that be postponed to either an upcoming meeting. And then the revolving loan fund application materials are still not quite ready.
Yeah, we'll be out of here by 7:45.
I was gonna say, that shaves a
Hang
lot
on,
off of
boys.
this
It's
agenda.
gonna be a quick ride here.
Glad I forgot.
Where do you want to put the library?
How about we do it?
1A, right after.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, Scott's here from the board.
Yeah.
So he-
Board member. Okay. Ready, now we're at 7:01. Overview of Zoom meeting operations and procedures, rules and participation, mute your microphone, recognized by the chair, etc. We're all old hats at this on the Zoom and here in the meeting, so been doing it for 3-4 years now, so.
There might be that
Be some
one
new
time
person.
that the new first.
Public forum?
First time around.
Anybody that's, something that's not on the agenda, that's in public or on Zoom that wants to briefly inform us on something?
The rest of the people we can see Yeah.
You just want you to be on.
Okay, department head, round table. Well, Brett, you're up. I see you're on, so we'll start with you.
I guess keep it short. I know you guys have a long agenda. It's that time of year where we put together nomination letters to recognize our firefighters. So yesterday put together five nomination letters for persons on the organization to hopefully be recognized by our county organization. Other than that, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
That was sweet.
That
That
was-
was sweet.
Thank
I
you.
want to say the station looks nice, Brett, with the wreaths out front with the lights shining on them. They look nice. Good job. Okay. Any questions for Brett? Hearing none. Bruce, you're on. See you.
Hey, good evening. Not much. We continue to put out notices regarding overnight parking now that we're into the winter season. And also, I'd like to postpone discussion on the community liaison position as we continue to gather information. Some of the people that we've reached out to, it's just been taking a little more time than we thought to get together to discuss things further.
Okay. Valerie did inform us that we postponed that, Bruce.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, any questions for Bruce? Alrighty. Anybody else on? I don't see.
Here.
Eric's here.
Eric's here in the back, yeah, I'm just,
And also Chris.
and Chris.
I made
Eric
an
first
appearance.
up. Anything, Eric?
Snowed out.
Snowed out, yeah. Heard you
Thanks,
go by this morning.
Yeah, so like Bruce was saying, we're in the snow season now, so, cars parked, garbage cans, basketball hoops, they all need to go.
Ramps.
Ramps, anything that's within our plowing range.
Or they will be moved by the plow.
Yeah, unfortunately.
By force.
Another thing is, Bridger passed his CDL test, so he's
I
all
saw
done.
Yeah.
So that part's all done. Just for you guys to ponder, think about, I've been doing a driver's ed thing with the plow trucks over at Mat-A with the driver's ed instructor teacher for the last, I don't know, a couple, 3 years now. We go over the trucks and safeties and we're following and not crowding the plow and all that. And I also mentioned to him about doing maybe an internship with the young kids over there, try to get some younger people interested in this type of work that nobody seems to wanna do anymore. So one of the kids reached out to me today and he can do it, I don't know, 11 to 2 or something like that, I can't remember, but I had told him I had to talk to you guys first, and then I'd get back to him and let him know. So that's just trying to do something to get more young kids involved in this.
11 to 2 every day.
What's that?
He would be there 11 to 2 every day.
I don't think so, I think it would be
Couple days
depending
a
on his schedule for school.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make it pretty clear to him that it's not gonna be a paid position, it's gonna be to do with the curriculum activity at the school. My son did it through the state, down at the state garage in New Haven, his senior year, I think, for 2 weeks, and then they'd rotate them, whoever wanted to do that, they'd rotate them out every couple, 3 weeks or whatever to get new kids in.
Yes, my only advisor is kind of reach out, back out to the school as his advisor or teacher, and make sure it's handled maybe like a field trip. So,
something
is our
like that.
insurance gonna cover him if he's riding in the truck?
Well, that was the other thing, I wanted you guys to think about it and everything beforehand, and if we needed to check on some, liability issues or insurance or whatever, that's why I told him that it'd be probably a couple weeks before I'd get back to him, so we could get the
Okay.
answers.
Okay,
I think that's about it, I've got more maintenance to do tomorrow. I got a couple of leaks in my truck, I gotta find out where they are.
how's the, any word on the Freightliner at the front end?
I called him today on that and he hadn't heard anything either, so he was gonna reach out to him to see if they've got any information, and then he was gonna call back when he had some new information, so.
Okay, all righty. Any questions for her, anybody?
No, go home.
Get out of here.
Go on,
Go on.
Eric, get out of here, you started
Well,
it.
I'm all done, I'm going home.
Yep,
Yes, you're
You are.
done.
Thank you, Eric.
okay, thanks, Eric.
We'll get some sleep.
Yes.
Anybody else on?
Alright, have a good night.
Chris.
Night, Chris.
Chris, yeah, you can give us maybe we're gonna go to zoning a little later, maybe on the treasurer's side, just how things going?
Yeah, the zoning permits.
And zoning
Permit,
permits?
zoning's been busy as all get up too. We've had, just between the planning commission and DRB, we're meeting just about every week. Luckily, the planning commission, as you know, you got the packet, they're done with this round, thank goodness. And they're taking December off, so, I thought I'd have some time off, but we're gonna do downtown review on what would be normally my night off. So, yeah, it hasn't slowed down at all. From the treasurer side, Sharon and I are putting out fires as they come. We're holding our own. We're paying bills, paying people, taking money in, got taxes, got through tax season. Learning
See, you collected enough to leave the lights on, so.
so far.
And pay the appropriation to the high school.
Yeah.
So far, so good, yeah. They met with the bank last week to go over like where our accounts are and what we have and trying to
Just figure things out.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's been slow, but we're,
It's sad.
Okay, well. you're
We
putting up
appreciate
the- Yeah, appreciate it, and you're doing a good fight, so, thank you,
Thanks, Chris.
thanks. Anybody else on? No. Alrighty, consider appointment of Mark Booger as an interim assistant treasurer, authorizing him to assist with various assistant treasurer's duty. Now let Valerie elaborate for
Yeah.
the public for a minute.
This came up kind of quickly, I think maybe even just last week or so. And obviously the absence of a treasurer is placing a lot of extra things on people that they may or may not have time to do, the capacity to do, or should be doing because of conflict protocols and the checks and balances, internal controls. And as Chris just mentioned, he and Sharon are still kind of finding out, what's involved in a lot of those treasurer duties that Anthony and others before him had ordinarily taken care of, that they would not have ordinarily known about or been involved in. So neither of them really know exactly what an assistant or interim assistant treasurer might do and when. But the thinking is that to the extent that Mark can help, that he offered to do so if he can. And I figured that in order for that to happen, if the opportunity comes up, that he should be authorized to do that. So that's why this is on the agenda. He can certainly speak to that some more, or.
I don't know as he knows enough about numbers.
The question for Mark is what don't you want to do? It's like, is there some part of this that you don't want to do?
Isn't by statute, you can't if you're writing the checks, you can't balance the checkbook. Somebody else has to, right? Correct?
I don't know if it's by statute, but that's our
Our policy.
Internal
internal
controls.
controls are, yeah, whoever cuts the checks is not the one that is,
That can do the bank statements.
Yeah,
we
separation
don't
of
do
duties.
reconciliation, it's sort of like,
Balancing the check.
yeah, like I make the deposit and Sharon and reviews it and signs off on the second half of it, so we try to keep the checks and balances in place.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
So just in my conversation with Mark today, it's if the select board supports this, that it would be considered more of a contract position. And so typically contractors would be like $25 an hour.
And how will
the
this be
listed-
determined when he's needed, when he's not needed? Is that gonna be between Sharon and Chris?
Yes, completely.
And Valerie.
Barely.
She's just gonna go, okay.
Yeah.
What is
I'll
it you
say,
need?
I'll say thank you.
Okay. I mean, until we get an assistant, full treasurer on and the assistant's still on, or whatever the where location will be, we're gonna need it.
Yeah,
They're gonna
so,
need the help.
and to the extent that Mark is,
Nothing more
Willing.
permanent than a temporary fix, Mark.
My 2 month position in Hannaford last year was 6 months. No, I spoke with Valerie. I was a little surprised that I said, well, how's the audit coming? She said, well, we should be finishing that up. It's last year's, and I've always worked that by the time your annual meetings roll around, you've got the most previous ending fiscal year. So I think that's something that maybe I could help out in. And if there's going through the management letter or what have you, and
We haven't
it
seen
would
the
be
audit.
ideal that when you go to town meeting, you've got your, like if you were going in '24, you'd have FY '23 audit closed up, and
We'd hope.
they haven't even started
Right.
it yet.
right, and you haven't even started yet. And the firm, I'm familiar with them, so possibly, what can we do to get that FY '23 audit started? And get that out there.
Yeah, we did get a draft of the FY '22
I
audit
was gonna say, we haven't even seen
Okay.
22.
in October, but they had at least 3 areas of questions. I provided them, collectively, we provided them with responses, and now they want me to sign off and accept the document, but we haven't seen the final document yet.
Right.
So, and that was today. So I expect to see that final document hopefully tomorrow, but we should have it by the next select board meeting.
Okay, great. And that's 22.
22, yeah.
Are the books closed out for 23?
No.
Yeah, that was.
And then that's another thing that Sharon and Chris are
Right.
navigating, because it's a whole
Well,
process.
yeah, because you don't know how to do that, yeah.
Right, there's so many things
Yeah,
right
we worked in
now.
Nemrick for about 2 hours last week to figure out where we're behind and where to focus, and we're meeting again with them next week to continue that process.
So whether Mark wants to or could offer some, he could sit in on those and help out with that, trying to bring this 22 to a close, so to speak, the audit.
Yeah, get the books closed for 23 and start that off.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't know whether we're a deficit or
Right.
surplus for 22 yet.
no, I'm pretty sure we're in good shape in both years, partly because of these vacancies.
Right.
That leaves us some unspent resources. And the increases that are on the horizon, of course, aren't in place yet. The expense increases, so.
Has there been any communication with our previous treasurer?
Not from me lately, but Sharon and Chris, I think, text occasionally with questions.
Okay. I don't have an issue with the 25 an hour, but I don't know if we want to discuss that in executive session. Maybe up to the other board members.
I'm fine with that.
I don't have a problem with it. The question is
How much time
that
does it want to
acceptable to
give?
you?
Right.
No. I was surprised that, and I know you say, well, you come from the public school sector, but, I was surprised at the rate.
At which,
That,
High, low?
low,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm surprised. I'm shocked myself.
But if I could, you also asked about the listers.
oh, yes, absolutely, yeah, listers report.
The interim board chair passed right over me, but just.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
well, you know.
Well, we never saw them. I was looking.
Anyways, first of all, it's good to have a full house. With Doug on board, he.
Actually, Mark, let's get
Oh,
this,
I'm
we got
sorry.
this on the
That's okay,
table
yeah.
first.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
sorry,
you were-
I'm gonna, no, we haven't voted yet, we gotta get a motion,
Okay.
and
Or we can discuss in an executive session. It's totally up to you guys.
are we going, we got executive session tonight or no?
Very brief.
Well, we could very brief this one, too.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's just do that,
okay, all right,
figure it out.
we're gonna kind of slip back up to public, or not public forum, department head, Mark, sorry.
Okay, so having Doug on board has been very good. He's got, again, knowledge of a lot of folks. When he calls, they recognize who he is. And he lines up the inspections. Just as a refresher, our year runs April 1, March 31st. That is our, we've got to get everything captured by March 31st if it's going to be on the upcoming grand list. We processed so far to date, since April 1, 52 property transfer tax reports. And we're currently on top of 78 building or inspection permits that are in the works. Now, Chris may say, I've turned in that many. Some of them are carryover from last year. People can't find contractors and the like, but that's currently what's on our docket. The biggest change on the horizon for the listers is called Act 68, which was passed by the legislature last year. Two big dates coming up. And December 15th of this year, property valuation review has got to have an implementation for conducting statewide reappraisals. That's the big change. And these are supposed to be done every 6 years. They want also the legislative committee has asked for distinguishing between different types and characteristics of property and their uses, implicit bias reduction training for listers and assessors, and consideration of changing the annual date to lodge a grand list from April 1st to January 1st, or possibly another date. So that's a recommendation, and that's supposed to be reported out this coming December 15th. A year from that same date, they're required to provide detailed implementation proposal on transitioning from municipal to state reappraisals. Lister and assessing hiring and qualification. And this one you should take note. PVR to provide certified assessment education programs on racial disparities in property valuation. Hired assessors must be approved by PVR. And as of January 1, 2026, elected listers, underscore the word elected, need to meet the same qualification and training requirements as hired assessors.
Oh my God. Do they want people to volunteer?
So that's what's coming down the pipe. And we belong to VALA, Vermont Association of Listers and Assessors. They had a number of people far more experienced than we are here, and spoke to the legislative committee, and they felt like it just fell on deaf ears. They had their agenda set, in some people's opinion, and this is what they were gonna go with. However, to that end, I'm currently probably 80 to 90% complete of drafting the RFP for reappraisal.
That would
However,
start,
That's our money, except for what they give us, $8 a parcel per year. But if they're gonna take it over, I've got a question into our district advisor. Why spend our money if they're gonna take it over?
within 2 years, they possibly could take it over.
Take it over. So, and right now, the most recent RFPs I've looked at as samples, they're out to 2026 and 2027. That's how far out they are, because there are just not enough people. And the concern is, there's not a lot of assessors, and to have reappraisals done every 6 years for every municipality in the state of Vermont, you know, you start doing the math and.
They're all gonna wind up on the
doesn't
same
add up.
year, yeah.
And so, we're all waiting with bated breath as to how this is all gonna work out.
So are the states planning on taking over the reappraisals, so they're hiring the,
Those are
They-
questions that
they
haven't
don't
been
have
answered.
that much detail
I
yet?
don't think they're gonna look to hire them to become part of their staff.
Right,
But they have a list of qualified assessors, of which we employ the services on a part-time
Right.
basis of one of those individuals. But it's the timeline, every 6 years. Our last reappraisal was lodged as of June of 2018. And we're now at a point where we're very close to being required.
right. We're right on
We're
the,
close to.
we're close to the
80%.
percentage,
Well,
right?
the state dropped the CLA and are now just going on the coefficient of dispersions.
Oh, they did.
Dispersions. That's the criteria. So we've got another year at least, possibly 2, before they say, all right, you're
Yeah,
on.
you have to.
You gotta get it done. But if they're taking it over, I don't feel that, but I don't have that clear answer yet as to whether we would still have to pay
Mm-hmm.
some portion of it, or the state's gonna bill us or whatever, so.
Eventually, we all pay for it anyway.
It's real reassuring that the legislature passes laws or rules before they have the answers to how they're gonna work.
Yeah, they don't know what the end game is.
No.
So that's the big change coming for all listers and assessors in the state of Vermont.
Boy, this ought to be interesting.
Yeah,
You know,
so
time will tell.
what was the December 15th one that's coming up here?
Well, that's the first one is to the implementation schedule and how they're going to achieve it. And a year from now, in 2024, is more detailed information.
So is it still, if we put that RFP out and it was said 26 or 27 before we get, even though we go under the COL, or COD, we're still, the old law was, if you had a plan and a contract, you could go under it and not get penalized. If you had no plan in place, you could get penalized if you were under the COD. I don't know if that's still, when I was in the office, if you went under the 80%, as long as you had it scheduled for 3 years from now, you didn't get penalized. If you went down to 75, or even 70.
I think I saw New Havens and they're in 2027, is when they're looking to have it done. So, and I would certainly, if that's uncertain, I would put a clause in the RFP that if things change, that the board would reserve the right to cancel the contract. Yeah, so you're not held, it's like that old adage in a bid, you know, the board reserves the right to do anything they wish to.
Okay.
So,
Well, what's the other terminology? I know what CLA is. What's the,
coefficient of dispersion,
which is,
That's another statistical analysis of your data. We do sales validation, that they will take random samples and say, no, can't use that one because that was mom and dad giving a good deal to daughter and son. So, you know, those get tossed out. But they look at sample sales, what we haven't assessed at, and what the property is going. And that range is factored into a statistical formula that is called a COD.
Which in the past several years has been, way out of whack.
Right.
Yeah.
We saw it during COVID,
Right.
in the tail end of COVID,
Yeah.
it was unreal what that, but were we alone? Absolutely not.
No.
Dover and those places down the southern part of Vermont, not far from the Massachusetts border, you see phenomenal changes in assessed value, and these are places that had not had, they weren't 10, 12 years from the last reappraisal. It's just that things just took off.
Yeah.
High interest rates, we're seeing things starting to come back down to not where we're having them assessed, but certainly a little bit
Okay.
lower than what we saw 3 years ago.
All right. All right, thank you, Mark. Keep us
Thank you, Mark.
informed.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, Madam.
Okay,
See you later.
we're gonna do that in executive session. 1A, library board member, that's all I got down. Point of a new library board member.
Yeah.
That's gonna replace who? One resigned, right?
One design.
And this is just until the next election,
Right.
Correct.
which is March.
Correct.
And Scott's here. He's the
Pronounce
chair.
her name for us.
Yeah, you can't ask me that.
I was gonna say Gilbro.
It's Gilbo.
Gilbro, okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
All right.
So you've interviewed?
Yes, we've gone
As a
through,
board.
and I think we have 4 new trustees that we want to bring on board. She's the one that we've selected for this interim. She's got all the paperwork, she's collected signatures, so she'll run for the full term,
In March.
once she gets all that through March.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I make a
So you
motion.
interviewed 4 people.
correct. Yeah,
She was the candidate you chose out of the.
she's the one that we checked, yeah.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we appoint Elizabeth Gilbro to the library trustee board.
Second.
there's a motion and a second. Appoint Elizabeth to the board, library board. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty. Continue review.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Continue review and potential approval of updated zoning administrator's job description and use. I know that was in our packet.
Yeah, hopefully folks had a chance to look it over. It's very similar to what was presented at the previous meeting with a few tweaks, mainly grammar, things like that. And at the last meeting, some questions had come up, partly about like scope and hours per week. And I couldn't answer all of those questions.
So it's still down for 20. And you,
It's currently
Chris, you
in the
feel
budget.
that's acceptable in terms of even though the amount of work seems to be
Yeah,
quite
with
lot.
the current work and the current expectations, in the description that was presented, I think 20 would be tolerable.
Okay.
Because I asked the question at the last meeting was, we used to have, when we had the zoning administrator and then an assistant, the assistant was more the enforcement, go with pick up the road signs and all that stuff and, leave them at the town garage for Eric. And that was a 10-hour week along with the 20-hour week. That's why I asked, is 20 hours? Now we don't have any assistant anymore. Was that enough? I just not opposed to raise it or lower it, but was that enough? 20 hours enough?
I suppose it ebbs and flows throughout the year, so some parts of the year are slower than others and
Right.
probably balances out over time.
I don't know, have you had a slow month?
Yeah,
February?
last February. And we're coming up on the slow time. I mean, like zoning itself right now has slowed down, hearings have not. But applications drop off quite a bit this time of year, so.
And the interest rates went up, so a little less building.
Yeah, and all the craziness of COVID has settled out some, and so we're seeing more tolerable amounts.
Well, this thing that we're going to kind of not approve, except that we've seen it tonight, or it's been mailed to us or given to us. There's gonna be 2 public hearings on it. This passes later on, if it does, will this in itself create more
No,
zoning?
no, it's actually clarifying some of the stuff that's not real clear.
I mean, I guess if we were concerned about the hours,
We could always up.
Could do it
right, you could do
at
25
budget
and we could budget for the 25 or 30 if we wanted to. At the moment, it's until next July, it's a 20-hour
Right, exactly.
position, so,
Okay,
but we could discuss it in budget times.
okay. I know, Randy, you were here 2 weeks ago and
Yeah.
asked some questions, so do you have any? We asked you to come back in 2 weeks to.
I just wanted, I looked at the draft and I compared it to the zoning administrator's handbook. And it's pretty consistent, but there are a few items that are not in this, in the ZA draft for Bristol that are in the zoning handbook as either statutory obligations or duties. There's only 3, and I thought I'd mention them, and you can see what you want to do. The first one is under obligations, and it says in the handbook, providing a notice of permit to be posted within view of the public right-of-way until appeal period ends. I think that would be pretty helpful for the neighbors, also for the applicant, that this is something that they need to attend to. And I think that's a really good idea to have.
It already has to be posted in view for the appeal period.
Is that in the,
I don't know if it's in the description, but I know.
It's on the permit,
It's
it's
on
on the
the
permit
permit.
application. I think that's a statutory,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's statutory requirements.
yeah.
okay. And posting a copy of every zoning permit in at least one public place within 3 days after issuing the permit. Each permit remains for 15 days. That also on the,
So
That's posted here at the town, the minute it's been, Chris signs off on it, it's posted here at the town. And anybody can come in and look at it, and I think Chris is working on getting them.
Yeah, and I think there's actually 2 years worth of them sitting on the counter in the front vestibule of the office.
So when you issue a permit, it can go from.
It's part of the process. I make copies here, I put together a mailing packet to the applicant, make a copy to place in the lister's box, because that's another statutory requirement, is to notify the listers. A copy goes on the clipboard, on the binder in the vestibule, and then a copy goes into the applicant's mailing with the poster, the P poster that we're all familiar with, and a letter stating that that poster needs to be posted for 15 days or until the appeal period, which is on the poster, and that has to be visible from the nearest public right of way.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that question then. So over by me, we got those 2 long driveways, and they wanna put some houses down there. Do they have to put something up by Pine Street?
Absolutely, because it has to be visible from the nearest.
Not in
public
their
right of way.
window down 300 feet off the
It
road.
has to be visible from the nearest public right of way.
Right, so if I have a permit at my house, I have to
Right,
put it down
exactly.
at the end of the shared driveway by me and her.
Yes, because that's a private driveway.
In the right of way.
I'll put
I
it
just
right in
want-
front of the road
I mean,
sign.
I asked about-
just
I know
wanna
it's in the
clarify.
right of way.
I asked the question 2 weeks ago was, I think of these, rope for these signs, we'll begin to see those, the little pegs. that
I
go
think
in
that's
the
a
ground.
great idea.
Put, instead of one in the window, like my neighbors put one in the window, but when their shades are down or can't quite see it, you drive by, you don't see it. If it was right there, I could see, hey, sign up for Cub Scouts now in August and September.
Absolutely.
Well, somebody said that you had actually mentioned that, and the planning commission pulled it out, or
No, we were talking about it, they didn't have time to deal with the.
Notice provisions.
The notice provisions in order to get the draft to you in a timely manner.
Oh, okay.
So
But
they
it
can make a
doesn't-
town meeting.
It doesn't
It's in their
mean,
parking lot, which is the next round of things that they'll be addressing.
but is there any reason we can't, as part of the permit process, saying,
Can we,
put that as part of the fee, we give it to
Yeah.
them and say, you need to
Put
put
this out.
this out by the
No,
road.
Absolutely, I mean.
Yeah, I don't know that we need a notice provision for
Aluminum
that.
frames don't cost that much, and get some of those and.
And it's, well, and we just have to figure out the logistics of things like storage and retrieving
Right.
them, but again, those are, I think that's a great idea. It's, I look at, Peter, when you did yours, it was I just remember it was on a stake right by the edge of the road, I mean, it was, you couldn't miss it, and that's what
that's the
That's
idea.
the idea.
that's the intent of what we
Right.
do.
Mhm.
And in the village, it's tough. Sometimes people just put it in their window because you can see it from the right of way. Heck, you can see it as you drive around. And then
I
have.
usually keep my eyes on the road and not looking.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Randy, I got off on that, I should have let you finish up, you were still going, so.
Well, I just had one more, but I've been looking in the zoning application, the permit application for that comment about, well, it's in there for this, the sign, there should be signage for the permit. I can't find it in two-page zoning permit application that the applicant has to do that.
No, maybe it's in.
Well,
Chris's-
it's part of
It's in
the
the
unified, the regulations. It's section 324,
Oh, you're reading it there?
posting of a zoning permit, so it's in there. I don't think it necessarily has to be in the job description, it's just because the zoning administrator is working from our unified regulations, it's in there already, and the current ZA has been doing that for, I don't know how many years now, in terms of the posting. Do we have concerns about it not being in the application? Is that what you're asking, Randy?
It's not in the job description for the zoning administrator. You said it's in the unified
Correct.
UDR, and I'm sure it is, but that's not necessarily so accessible for the applicant to be looking through 100 pages to find these things. And I think if they were on the, if it's either in the application or if it's in the job description, it would be transparent. It would be, okay, this is something that should be there, and
Yeah, I can see where it should be on the application.
And should it, and also, should it also be in the job description is zoning administrator must prior to all, you just.
Right,
that's what the handbook says.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's a
Or
good
put,
point.
just say the handbook.
Yeah.
There is that
The-
reference in
My
there.
part of the handbook is, I'm not sure which handbook it is, there's a 2 or 3 options out there,
Actually, there's only 2 now.
and most of them are very dated.
Yeah, 2005 and 2014. And the purpose of the job description, well, the job description incorporates by reference those documents
documents,
and the
right.
statutes. I don't think it's practical for a job description to try to reiterate all of the details, because
And
it
it-
might change over time.
And it
too.
says to enforce the UD
Yeah.
regs,
It
so,
does say that in the job description. Yeah,
right.
okay,
so.
okay. Anything else, Randy?
You had one more, Randy.
You had one more?
Yeah, let's see, under duties, should also inform people to contact the A&R for timely action on state permits. I think that should be in the job description, because it's pretty important and it's easy to miss. It's not on the application.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because Labor and Industry showed up in my building, and I back 20 years ago when I built my shop and said, where's your permit? So I got a town permit, but I didn't have a Labor and Industry permit.
That
Actually,
said-
it is in here on page 3. It says, advise applicants or prospective applicants to contact Addison County Regional Permit Specialist employed by the Agency of Natural Resources regarding any state permits that may also be required.
Page 3 of like.
The job description, it's there.
I mean, the problem with
You've
that
looked at
is,
it so many times, when you just.
tell them what bullet, or what
1,
page,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8th bullet
on
down.
page 2?
Page 3.
Page 3.
I only have 2 pages. I have 21 items for job description for the zoning administrator and the planning administrator.
There was a discussion 2 weeks ago, because she just sent it up that afternoon. You look like you might have the old draft or the new
No,
draft.
No,
I
Well,
referenced
it's
that.
4 pages, looks like you only printed 2.
Oh, you mean in one of the examples, is that what you're?
No, she
Yeah.
had the actual. I mean, the problem with that is that you can tell them they have to check, but you can't tell them what they need, because then you're giving them an opinion, and so you have to be very careful. You can say, you need to check with A&R, or you need to check with the permit specialist, but you can't say, you need this, 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 and this, because then you're giving
You know,
a
if you're
legal
gonna put
opinion.
wastewater in, do you need,
Our
does that
ZA
A&R's handle that, or is
Yeah,
that septic
you're
or
right.
something else?
Correct. Correct.
Wastewater.
Wastewater,
Yeah, it is A&R.
It's on page 3, but it's under illustrative examples of duties, and I didn't really look at those because I thought, I didn't need to. There it is.
Okay. Any more questions for us? Randy?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for taking the time to read it.
Yes, Randy, thank you
Mhm.
for being involved.
Appreciate that.
Any other questions on the zoning job description? Are we going to vote on that tonight, or are we gonna
Yeah,
clean it up?
sooner the better.
So if we vote on this, are you then posting it? Is that
That's the
the
objective.
idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
And see what we get for responses, and then decide what to do from there.
I mean, it's a pretty healthy job description.
Yeah, I know, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is it's very clear, if you
Yeah.
read it, it's clear to you what your duties are gonna be if you apply for the position.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that is where we need to be with our job descriptions.
Okay,
yeah, that's true, especially for this one, because it's a very particular thing.
okay,
And as of late, people have been critical of it, so.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
okay,
Anything else, Chris, you want to add to that?
No, I thought it was, I mean, I read through it, I thought it was pretty thorough, and it really covers, I think, the root of what this position should be doing. I feel it's a good representation.
And it also leaves room, depending on the individual that fills the position, if they have an interest in being, participating more in the planning side of things, special projects or whatever like that, then it allows that flexibility. In some communities, it's a planning and zoning administrator position, and it's more active and that kind of stuff.
okay.
But
so,
at 20
so
hours
that
a week,
leads,
though.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
that leads
It's-
back to, do we advertise it this way and with the intent of adding hours as of July, or do we stick with what we've got?
I recommend going with what we have for now, and we can make adjustments.
I mean, in all honesty, Peter, if somebody came under the job, they're, having moved to multiple towns and done this, you're 3 to 6 months out of just learning the community you're working for, before you could even ever think about jumping into
Anything else.
above and beyond
Yeah.
on that description.
Right, I would agree with that.
Porter mentioned in the comment, she said, one of the things I learned at the statewide conference about equality that I attended last month is that if you explicitly state the salary range and the benefits, you get more BIPOC and women applicants. Apparently there is data on this. So even if you don't put it directly in the job description, we should be sure to include it in the advertisement.
That's a
So,
good point.
thank you, Porter.
Okay, thank you, Porter.
So I'd make a motion to approve this position
The
listed.
draft job description, that's
To
what it
approve the
said.
job
To
description,
approve the job description, yeah.
But
it
it
will no longer be draft.
won't be longer a draft. Prove it as a,
I'll second.
is a motion and a second to approve the job description for the zoning administrator. Is there any more comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed?
Great, thank you.
Okay. We don't need a vote on 2A, it's just to acknowledge I see it here, I printed it off, the memorandum, I'll call it, that's what Kevin called it here.
Thank you, Chris.
I would say, I think I'm good.
Thank you, Chris. Statement of proposal of areas of town affected for the enclosed Bristol zoning regulations for review and consideration, draft amendment.
So there are 2 printed copies out front on the counter, there are a couple sets here.
I've got one, there's one.
I'm gonna take,
Yeah.
and there's, this one, I'm
Everything,
taking.
everything is on
taking
On
this
town
one.
website.
Yeah, right on the front page.
Yeah, front page and under our.
And there is-
select board notes.
2 public hearings for the select board,
December 11th and
11th.
December 18th.
and December 18th. Because of Christmas, we're going back to back 2 days.
How were their, how was the attendance on their meetings? Did anybody go?
Yes, I did. I went to this last Tuesday. Well, there was enough people there. I mean,
Was there a
There's probably 5 or
lot
6
of
people there.
conversation?
about certain things that's basically
Affected
dealt with a
certain
certain area.
Yeah.
You know, that they
That's-
that to me felt like they were trying to make changes to fit a specific audience and not look at the whole town or the whole area. But, you know, they wound up changing the definition of, contractor's yard.
See that, looks like it's gonna, something's gonna be bigger equipment versus
So they-
small.
so they
Well,
made
we can
changes.
talk about that, but,
Okay.
yeah.
So then so we're gonna look at it on the 11th,
Mhm.
and then,
We all need to review it before that.
right, so if we have comments,
Mhm.
what happens? It goes
Well,
back to the planning commission?
It depends on what our comments are. If we
Okay.
make substantial changes, then
Then
the
it's back to
timeframe
square
starts
one.
all over.
Okay,
Just need
We
to have
can-
one more public hearing.
Right, and we only are required to have one,
Right.
so they could make changes and come back to it for that December 18th. We can accept their changes, we don't have to accept their changes. we could make our own changes.
We can overwrite.
We can override whatever
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's
But
the
then- but
board,
then
that's
it's
the
still-
ultimate.
So we can overwrite it, but it's still going to vote. So,
And they
Correct.
would still have to go back, if we overrode some changes they made and said, no, we don't want it that, we want it back the way it was, they'd have to go back. And then that would be a substantial change, I'm assuming.
I'm not exactly following your thread there, but if the select board makes any substantive changes to this draft,
Mhm.
the select board needs to have one more public hearing on those changes. And so that's a 15-day notice period.
but not the planning commission.
No, it's done, the planning commission's done.
Okay.
Although they need to be given an opportunity to comment on those,
Right.
it doesn't need to go back to them.
Okay. And then if those changes would be made, we have one more public, which is the 18th, if we do make substantial changes, and then it goes before the voters.
Right,
Yeah,
if there's no more
Boy, that's-
substantial changes, then it can go to the voters
It's,
in March.
so,
That seems way more streamlined than what it's been in the past. but-
Well, because we, the last time we did this, it was a lot of changes.
right.
I mean, they made a lot of changes, so that was a big change. This, to me, is minor compared to that. I mean, there's still changes in there, and this all really stems from the 100S or whatever it was.
housing,
piece.
Right.
That's
It's
really.
very-
what
I have some
spearheaded
concerns.
It's very focused on that.
this. Right,
And it's,
Yeah.
even with that, it's still not a tremendous amount of change.
and I will have to
You'll
tell
see.
you, I'm surprised people didn't come out with force about the, changes they made for density. You know, cause in village mix, they're making it allowable to build
Accessory dwellings.
and more.
Yeah.
You know,
But that
more
was,
units per,
that's a state,
I know, but that's the state's, I don't know, recommendation, whatever, that's what they're looking for.
Well, it's saying it can't be, the accessory dwelling units is not making it conditional. It has to be permitted. So we don't have the option to turn it down.
No, I mean, they
because
did a
of
good job.
Trying to increase density, but, I have a comment, and I'll elaborate it on the next time, is that I still think we should have some control over that. We can have it be like a site plan review, something like that, which it isn't in these,
Right.
the latest
One of the things
draft.
I mean, they did do a good job, I think, of making
Yeah.
it so that an ADU has to be a certain percentage smaller than the main
And number of
building,
bedrooms
and it had to be less bedrooms than the main, the single family resident. I mean, I think they did a good job with that. It couldn't be higher, so
Right.
I think, that part they did a good job on.
Yeah.
I was just, I thought people might come out and say,
one of the
I can't believe you're gonna allow more buildings on smaller lots,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah,
One of the things that concerned me was, especially here in the village, and I realize we sit on gravel and Peter knows all about that, is, I mean, one of these things I read where you could build 4 units plus a 5th unit on 1 acre.
Presuming that the site will accommodate it
Right.
septic wise.
Right.
Right.
And we're not
And
in
they have
Jens
the
or
room.
Middlebury where they can, call it,
tie into the sewer.
send it to the sewer system.
and we don't have that.
We don't have
Yeah.
that.
Right,
As
well,
Kevin, I called him tonight, and he says, my been concern was, you got a building, you can put a house up 10 feet from the property line. We gotta put the septic 25 feet. You take a lot that's 220 feet square, 1 acre, and you put 4 units on it. He said, your septic's gotta be in the middle. And he said, then 4 septic
So what
or
they
5
did,
septics.
that's
Or
what
it's in
they
the
did.
road.
Or it's a community.
They co-housing over here.
Yep,
Right.
and he says,
That's
but you gotta have so many feet for each line, he said, and all that, he was
No,
telling me.
right,
Yeah.
there's, there's a distance,
So-
Yeah, and it ends up, personally, I think it ends up being a little more cumbersome because you have to have you have a community system
Right.
that everybody has to, take care of.
You
Right.
need an engineer, or you need a design, and, and to me, it would make.
But you
sense
need
to
somebody to
say,
keep track of it too,
Right.
because,
Yeah.
Oh,
if
you
you
wind
don't
up-
pump,
I know.
your tank, and I've got a grease trap and I don't pump that, and,
Yeah.
it's no different than our
Our system down the
municipal
Right.
system.
Right. Right, so,
Yeah.
okay,
So we'll
so,
have hearings on that anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've just acknowledged that
Yeah.
we've received it, so. Okay, and number 3 is postponed
Correct.
for now.
Number 4.
Number 4 is postponed,
Correct. Whoop, whoop.
Consider.
You're doing good, Joel.
Consider a grant application authorization request to apply to the Vermont Department of Public Safety and Homeland Security Unit for amount yet to be determined to install a generator and heat source at the fire department's radio repeater building. And if you guys don't know, that's a small building at the bottom of the cable TV tower up on the hill.
And the fire department owns that?
No.
I didn't,
No.
I was gonna say, I didn't think so.
No, they, when CTI Towers took over, they put in a different building and moved their
Equipment.
generator and everything to that.
Mhm.
And so we ended up, having to put power in up there,
Mhm.
our own power up there. And then when the power goes out, we no longer have generator backup.
And you don't have the repeater?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that the same for other entities that are on that tower?
The only other entity that I know of that's on it is Bristol Rescue Squad, and I don't know
I'm
if,
gonna let Brett, he's
Yeah.
on, so Brett, I'm gonna let you chime in here now.
I think he said in his note that Bristol Rescue is on ours, is on the side.
Yeah, he did,
Mhm.
Brett, go ahead.
Sure. So, let's follow up to Peaker's comment. So the concrete building up there is property of the town of Bristol. I know we had it insured, I think just last week, VLCT, someone got that building on their radar.
Brett, you're muffled a couple of times there, try to get closer or somewhere near your mic and stay that way.
Is this any
Sorry.
better?
That's better.
Better? Okay. Yes. So, we own, the town owns that concrete building up there. The two tenants in the building are the fire department and the rescue squad. The town of Bristol pays the electrical bill, always has. We do not charge the Bristol Rescue Squad anything to house their equipment in that building. They have their own lease agreement, the rescue squad does, just as we, the fire department, have our own lease agreement with Insight Towers, I believe it's the current vendor that owns that site, exchanged hands several times over the years. I've spoken with call it the property manager for that site. Finally have an access code to get through the chain link fence, barbed wire on top of it, so we can stop having to squeeze through it every time we need to get in there to work. So that's great, but we do have their permission to proceed should you all support putting a generator up there, because we currently do not have a backup power source. So the problem is today, when the power goes out, the three chief officers for the fire department are depending on a text message from Green Mountain Power, their automated system that says the power may be out at 500 and whatever Moncton Road that address is. And so when that text message comes, I pick up the radio, try to hail dispatch. They don't answer. I call them on the telephone, say switch over to Chipman Hill repeater site in Middlebury, which we pay a small fee annually to utilize. But as anybody's on the fire department knows, that site just does not work for the fire department here in Bristol, just due to line of sight. It's not reliable, and it's a waste of money. And they really just need a backup power source. I know there's been conversations about possibly someday down the road doing something over behind our fire station on West Street. I know there's a bunch of red tape and other things that need to be gone through, not to mention the large quantity of money it will cost. But in the interim, it would be nice to have backup power. And should the town of Bristol decide to erect a tower over at West Street, they have a generator that they can use elsewhere. So it's not like they would be at a loss.
You're gonna have to have propane and everything for that, or are you gonna?
We've already gotten a quote from Jackman's to do the propane install up there at that site, because that would be the fuel source. And the vendor we've asked to provide us a quote, they're the vendor who the town of Bristol currently contracts with for all of the generator needs. The owner of that company is actually coming Wednesday morning to do a site assessment and give us a quote, which is why you all don't have a quote this evening, because they are literally doing us a special favor, because they're booking well into December at this point. But knowing this funding opportunity is staring us in the face, and it's Homeland Security grants are not a big lift. Here's an opportunity for us to get that backup power we so desperately need at no direct cost to the town of Bristol.
Hey Brett, if you do this, will you then discontinue the agreement you have with the Chipman?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And Brett, this would have be automatic power, right? No automatic start since it, with
Yep,
like
it
a
would-
5 second, 10 second delay?
Be a switch over. And one of the great things about the vendor, again, that the town utilizes today is, with the exception of the fuel for the generator, they do everything, from the site work that needs to be done to, setting the generator, obviously selling us the appropriate size generator. We're not talking about a lot of power here. We have two 100-watt radios that sit inside that building and a couple of old fluorescent lights. That's about it.
Okay.
They do everything, which is really great, minus the heat.
Does
The
it-
fuel generator?
Brett, does it need to be a generator with propane? Have you looked into or have you experienced with battery generators?
Battery generator, like powered by solar, you mean?
No, like battery backup. So it's powered
So we
by
have battery
electricity
backup.
that's there, and then it's a
Yep.
battery backup if the electricity goes off.
Well,
Have
if he's
not-
gonna,
have not-
Brett,
Yeah,
hold on. Peter,
okay.
go ahead.
I'm just thinking if he's gonna have a heat source there, it's probably gonna end up being propane as well. Or were you thinking electric?
Well, in a perfect world, it'd be wonderful to stick a heat pump in that little room. It's certainly be a waste of $7,000, but it would be nice to have electric heat up there to run off our meter. Because that building, that is another problem up there that, if this grant was to be successful, does not address, is that we still do not have heat. We need more of a controlled environment. Fortunately, it hasn't presented us with too many problems over the years, but you walk in there in January and it's -0. And that's not necessarily great for that type of equipment, and with the fluctuating temperatures, it generates moisture and can present other problems. But one thing at a time.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if you were gonna have propane up there anyway, a small.
Yeah,
either
small
mono-
overnight taxi is another way to go, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned the battery just because they're becoming more.
Reliable.
Yeah, and they're obviously various size systems, and it's just plugged in all the time. And then when the power goes out, it just
Stays on.
it switches over automatically, like it would with a generator. But then you don't have the cost of having a generator, the cost of putting the tank in, and all that. And it seems like they're reliable. I mean, it's not like you're putting a Tesla, battery wall up there, but it's something. There are various sizes you can get, but I don't know if would be cheaper than putting this on. I guess we'll see what this cost is.
I guess my only question, Brett,
Oh, go ahead.
my only question would be, because we deal with it at the bank, is a heat pump that's slashed AC, and does that, inside that building get too warm where the servers they're not servers like at the bank?
They're not servers, but
So-
it's same problem as like a server room. It should be a controlled environment. It shouldn't be too cold. It shouldn't be too hot. There shouldn't be moisture in the environment. But today we have a stone cold building with no backup power. That's what we have today.
Okay. I just wondered
As of last Tuesday, there was only one application for that money.
Yeah, well, and this is why I'm like, moving very quickly on this, and reached out to Frida to ask if she would be able to provide any support, because I can't, my name can't be on that application because I work for the Department of Public Safety. It would have to be someone else on the department. But because people aren't applying for that funding, here's an excellent opportunity for the town to capitalize on this funding for something that they would support. I mean, this is emergency communications, and it's right there.
yeah.
Yeah, this is leftover money, the next round, as soon as this is divvied out, the next round will be up there for this coming year's money, so.
I'll make a motion to approve
Yeah.
the grant application.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. Any more questions from the board or to Brett or from Brett? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Brett.
Brett.
Thank
Keep
you all
us
for your
informed.
support. We will. Valerie will keep you informed. I'll keep Valerie informed.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll know before all of you.
Consider a grant application authorization request to apply to the V-Trans Transportation Alternative Program for $260,000 to construct a sidewalk on Airport Drive.
So moved.
Second, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? I read Floyd's
What was
thing
that?
here.
What
What?
I looked at this and I can't remember what is the town's responsibility, and I know we were splitting it with the school, what was the ultimate?
Up to 60?
Well, or at the moment, we're thinking 50/50, and that the match, the 20% match would be about $60,000.
Okay.
So it'd be 30 each. But of course, it depends on the
That's
actual.
long overdue
expense.
over there,
Oh, yeah.
long overdue. Okay, any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, consider a grant application authorization request to apply to the Vermont Outdoor Recreational Economic Collaborative for approximately $250,000 for a number of activity to promote outdoor recreation, wayfinding, inclusions in the downtown.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second, any discussions?
So this is the third time the town will be applying for this grant. Vorik was a new one a couple years ago, had a very small pot of money. We applied, didn't get anything. It then happened the year after, grew bigger. We applied, didn't get it.
Three times the charm?
Pretty much the same application. It was a little bit, we changed a little bit, I think, second time around. So now, third time's a charm. And it's a much bigger pool of money. They're asking communities to really go big. Frida's attended webinars and stuff about the application. So we're working with her. I'm part of that, just because I was part of it before, through Bristol Core. So.
Could some of this money be used for Memorial Park?
Yes. So that's the idea. We're sort of,
Okay.
we haven't nailed down exactly what we want to use it. We've taken the last year or the previous year's application, and we're sort of massaging that and then seeing what we can add in. We thought about the airport drive sidewalk. That was going to be put in there because it connects a lot of different things in terms of outdoor recreation, but it's moved to the V-Trans grant, which is good because it opens it up. Board is recommending in terms of our parks, focusing on Memorial, and potentially getting a bridge in there. If we get a bridge in, she can then start to do a trail around that area over the bridge. So I think that's good. We're looking at wayfinding, signage, and signage in general for Bristol, and sort of a whole branding thing. And part of it was also marketing outdoor recreation. So we're trying to wrap in like redoing the town website, which could be part of that branding and marketing of outdoor recreation. So a lot of different things in there that we're trying to figure out what to put in.
Okay.
But it's a great opportunity. There's a lot more money in it this year, so hopefully third time
Fingers crossed.
we're lucky. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Okay, there's a
there any
motion and a
match,
second.
No
match.
match, which is lovely.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Don't see any hands up on the board. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty.
Great, thank you.
Consider a grant application authorization request to apply to the Otter Creek Basin Clean Water Services Provider Program for approximately $50,000 to conduct a flood resilient scoping study along the Bristol Flats of the Haven River.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, my own question is,
Haven't we done this?
Haven't we done this
I was
once?
thinking that myself.
Because didn't you plant some trees?
Bunch of
Some
trees.
of the trees?
Oh, we did.
A couple times.
Yeah, I mean, we did
The water's
a whole
flowing down.
project down there where we stabilized the
I
bank.
mean, if we got no,
Well, Kristen was here, I think in September, maybe? I don't remember exactly, but you authorized her to submit the grant application to the other grant program that wasn't funded, and so this is kind of recycling that proposal through this
I
program.
think it's further up by Johnson Lumber in there.
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
not down by
No,
Saunders.
not-
Well, it's the whole area, but.
Right, it has moved that.
Yeah.
I still think that river in our lifetime is gonna go south of the new bridge. Then it's cutting.
Well, it's already going south of the new bridge, because
Well,
the
yeah.
bridge runs east
Well,
and
no, it's
west.
gonna go, you're not gonna go, water's not gonna go under it after a while.
Right.
Now, one of the things we haven't figured out yet is who the actual applicant will be.
Right, I
Whether
saw
the
that.
Regional Planning Commission will submit the application, and administer the grant application and project, I presume, or whether the town will. And Mike Winslow is available online if we have any questions about
Probably,
the program. It'll be our first experience going through this program, so we don't really know all the logistics about it yet.
I mean, and your hands are gonna be plenty full, your plate's gonna be plenty full anyway on other projects with water and these other things. Maybe we just hand the ball off and
So my
That's
thinking is at least,
my thought,
for the purposes of authorization, kind of authorize it either way.
Apply
and-
for it.
And let it be up to Frida and us and the Regional Planning Commission to decide who's got the capacity. Because these, if you notice, these application deadlines are all kind of bunched together,
Yeah,
the 8th and the 15th. So there's a lot to do between now and then, and it might be
Okay.
convenient or practical to spread it around a little bit.
I'll make that motion then,
okay.
whatever you said, Val.
Okay,
Second.
that motion is for, we're gonna apply for it and,
Apply for it
And
and
we'll
make a
decide.
determination on.
okay,
Yes.
all right.
Give
Any
it
more
a-
discussion?
We're gonna authorize it and
Authorize.
decide who's best to
Right, who's
apply.
best
Yeah.
to monitor
To
it.
monitor it and run it. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All righty.
Thank you.
Consider a grant application to authorize request to Otter Creek Basin Clean Water Service Provider Program for $15,000 to install approximately 120 water bars on key areas of
They're just,
skid trails and steep slopes to control erosion in the town Bristol Hill Waterworks property. This is the property in Lincoln, correct?
Right.
they're dips in the road to stop the water from
Right.
falling down the hill, yeah.
That's a lot of water bars.
It is an awful
That
lot of
road's quite a
water,
ways up
but
there.
Water bar.
it seems,
Dip in the driveway.
That's all it is,
Yeah.
just so the water can flow down.
Mhm.
well, no, it's
So
so
it
the
goes
water
across.
doesn't, so skid roads aren't typically, they're typically tilted towards the bank.
Yeah,
And instead, and you don't use culverts. So
Okay.
to stop the water from coming down the road, you put in these
yeah,
dips. You go down and then you come back up fairly quick and the water,
that's
the idea is that
Kind
the
of-
water
okay.
doesn't continue
Shoots off
down the
the
hill.
mountain.
It's an open culvert, really,
Yeah.
almost like,
Yeah, 120, wow.
okay.
That's a lot.
Our only, here is, again, who's gonna administer it.
Correct.
We have a letter from, or an email from Dave,
Right.
Vermont Family Forest.
Yeah, and he's, as a nonprofit, he's qualified to submit the application. Now, I'll be honest, if either the town or he submits the application, there's the whole procurement process, because if he's proposing that Vermont Family Forest do the application and the work. So, I don't know what this program's requirements are for procurement. But Bristol's procurement policy does authorize the select board to sole source in the best interest of what the select board determines to be the best interest of the town. So, I mean, in other words, we wouldn't necessarily need to put it out to bid.
Okay.
And even if we did, I wouldn't have a clue how to do that with this type of project, because I'm not familiar with the property. I don't know what the scope would actually
I'm
be.
not
I wouldn't know how to
familiar with the
define
road,
it.
but I'm familiar with,
I haven't been up that in
Yeah.
10
that's all I
years.
did all weekend.
That
So,
road.
I love it.
and if David does proceed with an application and the work, I don't know, in terms of oversight.
I was gonna say, who's administering?
Well, it's our
it?
property.
Yeah, but I've never, again, I'm not familiar with it, I wouldn't know, other than.
I know that Dave, I've done some woods work for Dave and he's very particular about his,
Leaving the land,
water,
right?
No, his water bars.
His water bars.
Yeah, so that
Leaving it correct.
I have no fear that if he's supervising whoever's doing it, they'll be
Done right.
done right.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yeah, so moved.
All right.
Second.
Michelle, second, to authorize that. Any more comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Okay,
Thanks, Mike.
thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Mike. Not that you had to say anything.
Review December select board meeting schedule and decide whether to still plan to meet on December 4th.
Correct. Hopefully you had a chance to look at the notes that, if you recall, when we originally set that December 4th date, the thinking was that we'd have a public hearing on that date and be able to dedicate that night to the public hearing, but the statutory timeline just didn't work out, and the fact that we only just received it, on
Right.
Friday, we needed to allow
That'd
that.
be next week.
Yeah, so the 11th really was the soonest we could have a hearing, so the question then is, if the public hearings for the zoning amendments are going to occupy both of those evenings, do we?
I don't think it's.
I don't wanna shove budget all into January.
No.
Right,
that's-
right, yeah,
I would just assume rather do the 4th,
yeah,
and just,
I think
What
there
are
are
we
enough
gonna do
other
the-
potential items.
she's got it on her thing, possible agenda items here.
Yeah, there was a half a dozen things.
Including the revolving loan fund documents, maybe, finally, someday.
so the 11th would only be the,
No,
oh,
No,
okay,
It'd be a regular board meeting. Oh, no, yeah,
yeah,
Approve bills.
special
Yeah.
meeting, regular board meeting.
yeah.
yeah, so
The
the 4th
11th.
would be the special meeting, the 11th would be a regular meeting,
What
and
would
then,
be a special about the 4th?
Because
It's
it's
not
not our
scheduled.
normal, it's not our
So could we
normal.
just call it a budget meeting, do
Exactly.
budget?
well, and other things, 'cause these are some of the other things
Yeah,
that could.
there's the list.
Yeah.
Yep.
thanks.
Yeah, and there's, the open question is what can be accomplished between now and next week, so that's, we'll see.
Any of
what
the
happens.
department heads ready to come with their budget?
No, I don't think,
Oh, no,
no.
no, it would be a very preliminary discussion of budgets. We still, there's a lot of information we still.
And I don't think we need to have all
That's where you
the
can put your
department,
cap on.
we don't have the department head roundtable that meeting or anything like that. I think we just focus in on
Yeah, that makes sense.
these,
So it's
this
not-
business.
It's just a special meeting, it's not a select board meeting.
It's a select board meeting, but it's a
It's
special
special.
meeting because it's not a scheduled meeting.
Scheduled meeting.
I'm just
right.
trying to get the gist, it's not gonna be.
The 11th is a scheduled meeting, the 18th is a
It's a
scheduled
special,
meeting.
special scheduled meeting.
Right, well, the 18th is in lieu of.
Christmas being the
Christmas.
25th.
Right, because,
Yeah.
yeah, the
Christmas on a
holiday.
Monday,
Right, so we're just rearranging.
two
And,
back to back.
to that point, Sharon raised the concern that after the 18th, and with, in January with the holiday there,
No, nobody gets paid for a
that
month.
that the next meeting after December 18th would be January 8th. And in that period of time, there would be a lot of bills that would need to be paid, or else we'd have to incur late fees. So we might.
You mean
ask-
30 days?
Say that
Not
again?
30 days.
No, well, anyway, so we might suggest a very, like a 5-minute special meeting just for the warrant.
On the 1st?
Or, I think we talked about like Wednesday, the 27th,
Oh,
for
okay,
just
I
need
maybe
three
tight,
signatures and,
okay.
because we were advised by VLCT that the warrant needs to be approved at a select board meeting, a noticed select board meeting. We can't just print it and leave it out for people to come by and sign.
You go 2 days later and you can bring me birthday cake.
It's not good for that, perfect.
So anyway, that's an idea.
If we do the
and we'll
27th,
confirm.
I'll bring you something.
Okay.
Cupcakes or
You may
something.
not get me, my
Yeah, that'd be good.
driving bus schedule is pretty full in the month of December. I think I'm in Fairhaven that night, but you guys don't need
We
me.
would only
just-
need 3 signatures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
26.
I get called in.
How does it feel to be not needed, Joel?
It feels great, Baker. It feels great.
Just as long as we make it short.
I'll
I've got-
call
I've
like
got
I
it down
did
for
it,
an hour.
Michelle, I'll call your phone like I did in Eastbrook that night, at the meeting, sitting in the bus, out parking lot. Okay, so,
So it sounds like a yes.
Yeah.
we're gonna have
Yeah,
the 4th,
that's fine.
Okay.
okay. Ready, review and approval of
Yeah,
October
some
30th and
emphasis
November
on
And
13th
your
meeting.
cupcakes.
I didn't see any minutes. Come through.
The October 30th were distributed a while back, the 13th went out this afternoon, sorry.
I didn't get a chance to
Yeah.
read those, so I'll make a motion to approve the October 30 minutes with whatever changes we sent you.
Yeah, and actually you had sent me edits previous that I incorporated, so the set that's published now incorporates
okay.
your.
I didn't look at those, I just knew I had sent you my comments.
Okay. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Review and approval, so we're gonna approve the motion for October 30th and hold off till next meeting on the 13th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Do we have
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
anything else for back minutes, or are we up to date?
We're not up to date, I've asked Carol, Carol is helping us catch up on some other minutes, but yeah, we're still working on some.
I'm just curious, I'm,
Oh, no, it's an important thing to deal with, and we're doing our best.
Jumping back to the previous schedule, Brett had a comment. Will department heads be receiving a budget sheet to work from in the coming weeks? It would be preferable to have a live document. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great, I haven't had a chance to start that yet.
Okay. Accounts payable, warrants, and liquor licenses. We have one liquor license here, and we have accounts payable is $2,769,891.82.
That's for all the appropriations.
That's all the
And our
appropriations. And our salary, our big the school appropriations in there, the school, we paid that after the first.
hey, Brett, you'll be interested to hear, you got an appropriation too, but it
That's
was
right.
reimbursement for a bill.
But you'll get that yearly now.
Alright, so that's that. Select board roundtable.
No, wait, you got the liquor license.
Folks, yeah, the liquor license for. Got it here, so.
Manufacturing.
Mini Factory,
We don't have to vote on it, we just,
LLC.
I don't think
No,
so.
just-
We
you
have
gotta
to
read
we
it.
just have to know it's there, yeah.
Okay,
Although in your email, she did ask for a vote.
So moved.
second, there's a motion and a second to approve the liquor license
For manufacturing.
for Mini Factory. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And select board roundtable, Ian, you wanna start?
I'm good, thanks.
Michelle?
I'm good.
Peter? I don't have anything.
Wow.
I mean, you're running the meeting, so you can't go back.
It's like a well,
Right.
it's like a well-oiled machine tonight.
He's shooting for that 8:30 mark.
Got his clock
We
set.
got.
Valerie,
executive
anything beyond your
session,
TA
you know.
report?
Visited the Eagle Park project, so that's coming
Oh,
along.
yeah.
I believe Masterson's, I think they think they're finished or close to it, but there are some things that need to be circled back on. So it's not quite there yet. And the soil boring company had began the work on Briggs Hill Road today, and it's expected to take a few days, several days. So that's happening.
Has the soil boring been done for Basin Street?
Yes,
That's where.
I believe it has. Yes, that was done a while back.
That was
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing new to report on that particular project. And that's just a lot of different balls in the air.
Right.
So,
I
A
do
lot
wanna
of
ask,
projects.
all these grants, is that our grant person finding them?
it's a combination.
Just, I do have one thing, Baker. Is
You
Munson-
can't go back.
Is Munson gonna take their office trailer out of there, or is that Steve's over there at the town garage? It's right in the way of the-
Munson, it's rented by Munson.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just, I know Eric's gonna want it out of there to.
And it's too late to take it as deer camp.
Right, yeah. So, okay, any correspondence, reports, anything?
Let's see, in your packets or online, the budget status report through October, the annual, semi-annual landfill groundwater monitoring report. They are monitoring for,
Yeah.
the.
PFOAs?
Yeah, that stuff. And
Well, 103.
yeah, and there is a slight trace, but so they're gonna keep checking it out. Brett kept us informed about the interview that he had with the Addison Independent about the Conex box.
That's good.
Some updates, construction updates on the Eagle Park fishing platform. A little heads up that another request budget increase for appropriations.
Of course.
And then Bristol Rec Department information and information from the Vermont League of Cities and Towns about diversity opportunities, training.
It's not, the budget increase for the appropriation for the Addison County Economic,
Region
but
Economic
that's not
Development.
an appropriation though.
Correct, yeah, we figured that
It's a
out, that it's a membership organization.
Yeah.
Is that a B?
No, it's not.
And then, anything
I know,
else?
that's what I said, is that a B?
Anything else?
Um,
We're talking hurry around. but-
no, I don't think so.
So for the soil boring, or not the soil boring, sorry, the groundwater, if they have a trace of that, they'll keep us monitored and they'll, more than just sending a report, they'll say, they might tell us that something needs to be addressed.
They, yes, they would,
Okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to just sending the report.
Yeah, you
and having us
gotta
have to
empty the
look through it.
landfill.
right.
There's a few trips out of there, eh, wouldn't it?
See, you've said that now, and now you're gonna jinx us.
Yeah,
I just,
well,
you get that thing and it's like 66 pages or whatever, it's like,
Right.
just get me to the conclusion page, because
Yeah.
I don't understand any of this stuff.
Right.
Just let me see
I
what
do
the
have one other
conclusion
thing.
says.
Yeah.
The Addison County Regional Planning Commission continues to promote the fact that they have brownfields grant money to apply for the initial phase 1 and 2 assessments. But then there's another pot of money, and apparently a lot of it, for cleanup. And they've confirmed that if we do decide to go forward with a phase 1 or phase 2 site assessment for the public works facility, and the soils that we know are kind of sketchy over there, and once the genie's out of the bottle, we'll have to deal with it. So
over where we are.
where we are, correct. So, but but I've been told on more than one occasion that there's a lot of money for cleanup. So, just putting the question out there, do we,
Are we talking about like the area where the public building is?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, we're not
Remember the-
talking about
You remember
the
No.
dump itself.
no,
No,
That's already been
where the
mined.
buildings
Redloaf-
are. It's-
Red
it
Wolf
used
said
to be
it
the
had to
dump,
be
right?
taken
It's
out,
kind
that
of-
stuff.
it's
Well,
kind
I
of
don't
built.
know that
We don't know.
We
right?
don't know.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can actually tell us. I mean.
Yeah.
I asked my father, he doesn't recall, but then he asked somebody else and they say, oh, yeah.
Right.
I mean, as a kid, I remember going over where the ball field is and pushing stuff out.
That was the.
And then they, and then
Yeah.
they burnt, that's where the kids went to shoot rats to keep out of mischief. And
And
then
throw
they,
rocks at each
and
other.
then they'd push it over the bank and it got too much. And that's when we did that, when we cleaned that bank, when we pulled all the trees there. I mean, it was just the rings of the steel cans that had been dumped and the glass
Yeah.
was all that was left of that garbage.
And we know that when they dug out for that pond for the solar, there was
Right.
stuff in there, which was further, I mean, getting closer to where the buildings are, not exactly where the dump was, right?
When we,
Yeah, further down.
when
Yeah,
we
okay,
move on, I
yeah,
will.
yeah,
So even though we're not planning right now to do anything with that site, we don't have any construction plans or anything like that, like we did before, when we were considering that. I mean, so I'm on the fence myself about whether to recommend going forward, because we don't have a plan to reuse
Right.
that property, so what?
I mean,
what's-
oh, that's right, I see what you're saying, so, right.
The
If-
question is
Yes.
if you do the assessment, what are you gonna do with that? I mean, if you come up with an answer,
Right.
that, okay, yes, it is a brownfield, what are we gonna do?
Right,
Do we do cleanup if we're not really gonna use that, or change it, or whatever? I mean, but
Well,
once you know it's there,
Well,
then
if
aren't
it's,
you obligated to clean it up?
Yeah, that's the point. That I've
if
been
it's a
told, yes.
brownfield, if it's a brownfield already, because my reclaimed pit is considered a brownfield.
Hmm.
And you can put solar panels on it.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
okay.
So anyway, that's a question I just wanna keep.
So thinking about that, when would we wanna think about that?
Yeah,
I mean, if the money's there,
I know.
and can it be made useful, but maybe just the solar panel, I mean, yeah, if it's an area
Does
that
it
we could
come
use to put more
Kinda
panels
like just
or,
Does it come with a
capping
caveat that it's gotta be used within
yeah,
2-3 years? We don't know when we're
Because
gonna
we
build.
know that we're exploring other locations for public
Correct.
works, and we hope that eventually, in the near future, they'll have a new place to go. And so the
Right.
question is, what do we do with that property? And do we want to
Whatever we
be
do with it, then we're gonna have to
proactive
do that.
and
Yes.
get ahead of, kind of open up the range of possibilities by cleaning it up if we have to, or just wait, you can see.
I mean, there were a lot of
Let's sleep on
benefits.
that.
Well, there are a lot of benefits to moving the public works away from that area,
Yeah.
given the traffic noise, things like that, because it's right in the neighborhood.
Right.
So I think anything that we might explore that might go there would want to be a lesser impact than what it is now.
Well,
But I don't know what that
the rec
might be.
department, the rec
Racetrack.
department would have a lot of uses for
Monster
that
truck.
site.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, for
Right, so,
those
and we have,
buildings.
I mean, there are buildings over there,
Mhm.
and some of those buildings are
One of them is
usable,
usable, the other
yes.
one would probably not be usable.
Yeah,
Well, the brand new one down in the hole is
right,
definitely,
exactly, that's definitely.
Yeah.
and the other one's been completely,
That's
pretty
your,
much
that's your
completely
climbing
renovated.
wall,
Yeah,
given the height of
yeah,
that building.
Yeah, well, that's only when they get the salt and sand out of there. I mean, and that may be a couple of years.
Right.
Okay,
Okay, so it's nice to know that the potential for cleanup money
Yeah.
is out there.
So
Because that was the thing that sort of gave us pause when we
Right,
discussed this
right,
previously.
right.
We had plans drawn up for renovating and
Right.
having new buildings, but because of the unknown
Yeah.
about what everything is sitting
Slam
on.
the brakes.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
So I'll
Okay.
try to get more information if there are
there is-
specific deadlines that we need to be mindful of.
You know, there is the possibility of cleaning that area and then lowering the grade. If we were to take the building that's there down, lowering the grade, taking what we take from there to fill,
push it,
because I guess we can't,
Hmm.
it sounds like we can't take the gravel, like we had once thought.
Right.
You can't take it because it might be a brownfield.
No,
That's the thing,
we
we
had
just can't
thought,
take it out of there.
I mean, I thought you said we weren't allowed to crush there.
mineral extraction, I think is.
Yeah,
But
so,
whether that would be considered mineral extraction, I don't know. Or,
Okay,
Let's keep it on,
yeah,
I guess, keep it on the burner.
okay, well,
Think
if I
about
find
it.
out more info,
Yeah,
Yeah.
think about
I'll
it.
keep you posted, but I just wanted to put it out there.
Okay. Small executive session, a little short one.
Sure, make a motion, we enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, real estate negotiation, and potential contract negotiations for 1 VSA, section 313.
second.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor?
I.
Okay, opposed? Okay, we're in.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good night, everybody.